Using a Chapter Walk Within a Science Class by Kara Schmode. Textbooks have commonly been used within schools to assist and support student learning. Textbooks can help students understand a difficult topic or highlight key points of a theory. Although textbooks can be valuable, being unable to read or navigate a textbook can be a challenge for students when presented with new concepts or topics. Specifically, textbooks can be challenging for learners that don't have previous experience using the textbooks found within North American classrooms. Moreover, scientific texts often contain language that can be difficult for students to comprehend. These issues pose even more of a challenge when students are expected to complete readings independently of class time, without the assistance of a teacher. This often causes students to feel overwhelmed and miss the big picture of what they are reading. However, when textbooks are used effectively, they can provide students with an overview of the material about what they are going to learn before they even begin to read the text. This is because textbooks contain elements that can be used to help preview new material before starting a lesson. By taking the time to review these elements with their class, a teacher can provide students with both a strategy they can use to effectively understand the text, as well as an opportunity to gain background knowledge on the content they will be learning. In this podcast, we will be reviewing a learning strategy called a chapter walk. A chapter walk is a pre-reading strategy which gives students an opportunity to review what they are about to learn and to effectively find out the most important information in a chapter. Chapter walks are often performed at the beginning of a unit or chapter. They can be performed in front of a large class, or to a small group, or to just an individual student. Initially, chapter walks should be teacher-led. However, students later should be encouraged to perform them individually. Chapter walks can be useful for teachers as they provide a means of engaging students in learning. Chapter walks allow teachers a general understanding of student prior knowledge of learning. That is to say, teachers can use a chapter walk to gauge the degree to which their class understands a concept before they begin teaching. This can allow teachers the opportunity to modify their lesson to the level of student knowledge. There are a few elements within a textbook that teachers should point out to their students during a chapter walk. First, it is important that teachers identify the title or heading to students, as this gives the reader information on what the text is about and is a first step in comprehending that material. Second, teachers should point out focus questions or key objectives. Students will be able to use these to identify which information is the most important within a chapter. In addition to teaching students how to identify key elements of the text, it's also important to teach students how to use certain elements to aid in comprehension. Therefore, teachers should point out key vocabulary terms. These terms are typically bolded and are defined within a box or margin due to their importance in understanding the text. This is particularly important in science class due to the large volume of scientific vocabulary which is not used often in everyday conversations. Next, a teacher should highlight, explain, and demonstrate how to use the reference tools, such as a glossary or index, at the back of the textbook, as these tools are often confusing for students to use, especially for those students who have never used these tools before. Lastly, pictures, graphs, and charts are an excellent tool for students to use to aid in comprehension and deepening their understanding of a text. Students should be encouraged to use these tools to preview what they are about to read, as these visual elements can provide an excellent representation of the text. The teacher should also encourage students to read the caption of these graphic elements. This can be particularly helpful for ELL or struggling learners, as captions can provide a quick summary of the text. Throughout the chapter walk, students should be encouraged to do a self-check for comprehension, as teachers may not always be available to guide learning or answer questions. Now that we know the important elements the teacher should point out during the chapter walk, let's go through a quick example of how to complete one within a science class at the beginning of a unit. Step 1. To start off, ask students to look for the key elements in the textbook, such as the heading, focus objectives, the key vocabulary, reference tools, visual elements, and captions. Step 2. Ask students to predict what the scientific topic the chapter is on. Prompt students by asking why they made the predictions they did, thus engaging student background knowledge. Step 3. Ask students to share or discuss their current knowledge on the topic. Step 4. Check for comprehension. At the end of the chapter,